My interview with Miss Niscey, trials, tribulations, overcoming life, drug abuse, and more. Join me. This is Chris Talks. Let's get into it. Welcome, listeners, for another episode of the show. I am your host, the most, Chris Talks. All right, let's get into it. I got a special guest on this episode. We are doing an interview on this one. All right, as you heard in the intro, all right, so we're doing an interview uh with somebody I know. I've known for a little while. It's my homegirl, Niscey. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about the trials and tribulations, the in and out of drug use. Now, what I'm going to discuss with my guest today, and what you're going to hear today, is how basically how this transformed this person. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want my listeners, y'all already know I don't play that judgmental crap. But I do want y'all to listen. I want y'all to listen to this woman, because this woman has been through a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations, and it has led her to a certain point that she in. And I'm just going to keep it real. A lot of us, we go through this point. Some of us, we seek one way, some of us seek another way, but we cannot condemn anybody for doing what they do. And that's what we're not going to do on the show. So, all my listeners, y'all already know we don't do that, right? All right, so I want to tell you, I want to give you a little bit about this woman real quick before I introduce her completely. All right, so listeners, the guest I'm about to introduce you to is a single mother. Um, she has raised two young boys. Done her best to do what she had to do, but she's held down many jobs. I could say from about 2008 to I guess about 2015, 16. She oh, I said 18, woman, and now you saying 19. All right, I'm gonna correct myself. From 2008 to 2019, this woman has tried her best to maintain and hold down a job, several jobs, from nursing to being on school boards and stuff like that. And I want to give her credit for that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all, all my listeners, I know this woman, but I don't know her. I know her, but I don't know her. Okay, but I have seen this woman actively uh, been working more than one job, two jobs at one time. But she went through a transitional period. She went through a period where she transitioned, and a couple of maybe a couple of months ago or something, I was sitting down there, I was speaking to her, and the conversation just got real. And so I invited her on this platform to discuss her story, and hopefully it will help anybody out there that is listening to her story. Because what it is this: um, what we got was um, a couple of views, a couple of hits. We had did a story before on I think it was physical abuse, okay, and why women stick through physical abuse. And a lot of people, I don't think y'all understood that story. And I'm not saying she's here for that reason. What she's here for is for you to understand, like, how these things happen. How somebody can go from one phase to another, and how do I say it? What life brings them. to make them go through that and make those type of decisions. All right, and that's what that's what we doing. That's what we doing right now. All right. So before I bring my guest in, I'm gonna ask that all my listeners listen to her story. Those who leave comments in the comment section, because I know some of y'all on social media can be very vicious. Please don't. All right. Without further ado, I want to introduce my guest. This is a good friend of mine and a friend to the Chris Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Niscey to the show, and I so appreciate you for being here. Welcome, Miss Niscey, to the show.
Thank you.
You gotta hold that mic.
Yes. Hi. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you inviting me to the show. I'm glad to be here.
I am glad that you're here. Now I don't know if I did I don't know if I did that intro any justice. You understand what I'm saying? I was trying to do the best that I can, but if you want to tell the people, like tell my listeners, like who you are, where you come from, your background and stuff like that. Like, who are you?
Well, my name is Denise. There's a lot of people who call me Niscey. I was raised in Staten Island, but I was born in Queens. My birthday is in October.
We don't care when your birthday is. We don't care. Now you gotta start telling the zodiac signs and stuff. But what what I known you for is I've always known you like when I've seen you, I've always seen you like working and being productive and stuff like that and stuff like that. And then over the last few years, you have what made, and I'm gonna just bottom line it, okay. At some point, you started using drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. What turned you to do that? And if you wish to, what was your drug of choice that um you chose?
Would you like a timeline of my drug use, or you just want to know about like?
You gotta hold the mic up. You gotta hold that.
Would you like a timeline of my drug abuse, or would you like me to just tell you what I'm on now?
No, I don't want no time. I'm just saying from then, from what started you
Well, I
to like
started using.
what was you going through that started you to get into the lifestyle that you're in now? What started you there?
My grandmother passed away. She died from cancer and diabetes,
Mm.
and it basically turned my world upside down. I'm basically having a hard time dealing without her. Can't really cope with it. It still hurts. I feel a lot of guilt
But why would you feel guilt? Like,
because
but I mean, if
she wanted me to take care of her before she died.
but was you the cause of her
No,
death?
not even. She died from cancer and diabetes. But I feel guilty because, this woman, she was my biological grandmother. She adopted me. Where would I be without her today? So I know her looking at me right now from heaven, she's not really happy with me right now. But I'm having a hard time dealing with her, like I said, dealing without her. So I started using crack to cope with her death. I feel guilty because she wanted me to take care of her. She didn't want to be with no other family members. And the nurse said, she has to be watched 24/7 because she's falling and all of that. And mind you, I have 2 kids, twins at that. And they both go to different schools.
And that's around the time I started. I didn't know that you was going through that with your grandmother, but that's about the time I started. And that's when I saw you in those nursing uniforms, and you was doing. I guess you was doing some type of
Snowflakes nursing home. Yeah, I worked in the
You was
nursing
doing
home.
some type of uh, like some type of care, tending. So, but did you get into that because of your grandmother?
No, it's
Was
just something I
it was
tried.
just
I
yeah,
mean, she always stood behind anything I did.
yeah.
Always there for me. Always, was a helping hand when I needed it.
So
She motivated me.
that trauma, and losing her, because I mean I can relate to somewhat of what you say. I'm not gonna sit here and cry and all that stuff, but and I don't want to get too personal with myself, but I just recently lost my grandmother.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
You see what I'm saying? But then actually within the last 4 months of hunting you down trying to get an interview with you,
Mhm.
that was a process um, that I went through, and I can relate to you because it is very hard. I'm not saying I went to that level, but uh, I will say my drinking kind of increased a little bit.
Everyone's habits to each his own, right?
Yeah, it did. It did increase, and I'm trying to check myself on that. But I will say uh, that has happened, and um, I don't. I don't know. I don't. I hope it don't. You
Do
know.
you feel like it helps you cope with
Somewhat it does. For now, I will say for now, somewhat it does help me cope, and that's why I can relate to
see, I didn't
some of
plan
your
on
coping, because a lot of I mean a lot of us we use drugs and stuff to cope with a lot of pain and a lot of trauma that we go through,
very true.
and sometimes certain drugs, they seem to help with that. Um, do I think my grandmother would want me to do it? No, I don't think so. I'll be real. I don't think so.
Bruh.
Like,
But I mean, but
Bruh.
to a certain level, a certain extent, I can understand that.
I feel like I
And,
use because I have no one to talk to. You know, my family's broken apart.
hmm
I haven't spoken to my mother in 3 years. I asked her for help, and she was worried about the guy I was dating instead of helping her daughter.
and that was my next question to you. How has um because you said you started using crack, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you start with. How did that affect you and your relationship with your family? That was my next question. How did that affect your relationship? How did that
There,
affect?
there really it
Yeah, because
was
that's
no effect because me and my family's been broken apart since my grandmother died. I've been just me, myself, and I, with the occasional, hang out with my sister. My brother even picked up and left to Georgia
mm.
and didn't even say bye or even tell me.
So your grandmother was like the glue.
And my kids are in Florida. She was definitely the glue.
Yeah, and also how did that affect and I don't want to I want to dig into it, but I don't want to dig. But how did that affect you with your kids? Because I mean, okay, so we at the studio now. We in New York City, and you said your kids are in Florida. So how does that affect you? And if I may ask, um, how long have your kids been there?
I haven't had my kids since they were 11.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
chose to send them back to the foster home they were in the first time they were taken from me when my daughter had passed away. Another thing I'm still trying to deal with and
Hold up.
cope with.
Wait, wait. All right, hold on. I don't mean to stop, but wait a minute. Okay, listen. I know about the two boys. Are you saying you had a daughter?
Yeah, She would have been 15. Her birthday would have
You
was.
gotta hold the mic up, sweetie.
She would have been 15. Her birthday was September 16th.
If I may ask, if you willing to speak, what I didn't know that. Yeah, wow.
Bruh.
I
Yeah, I know.
but
It's a
I just
lot to take in.
I understand. And I want, like I said, I gotta ask these questions. I don't mean it into
Crib death.
what. Okay, okay. Crip death. Um, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know you had a daughter. I knew about your sons because I seen you with your sons. I didn't. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. A crip death,
Of course, the newspapers tried to twist everything around
and they hit the
and
newspapers as
make a
well.
story out of it. I guess for
And that,
publicity, for like, I don't know, maybe for somebody to read their newspaper, because none of it was true.
and I haven't ever went through that. I can't imagine going through something like that. But that had to be very traumatizing within itself.
It still is. I can't get the vision of picking my daughter up out of her bassinet that day out of my head. That's something I could never forget.
So, do you think? And this is, I'm just asking this question. So, that trauma. Okay, let me ask you this: did you lose your daughter before or after your grandmother?
Before.
Before. Okay.
Let's put it like this. Bottom line, I have, I'm dealing with a lot of deaths from family members under my skirt. A lot. There's a lot of guilt in my heart because it's like I think to myself, is there something I could have did to prevent it? Maybe if I was there and I didn't leave to go be with my baby father, or I would have just took the time to, try to take care of my grandmother plus my kids at the same time. Maybe she would have lived longer.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe her brother. I feel like her brother killed her because when we went to visit her in Connecticut, they wouldn't let us up the first time we came there. And they took her back to the hospital, to the nursing home, and said we can visit her there. It was still in Connecticut, so we had to come back up there the next day, pay again. My grandmother was like a different person. We couldn't even hold the conversation. She was talking to me in Spanish. She never taught me Spanish. She tried, but that's another story. Um, but yeah, the nurse said she was under medicated. Does that make any
Mm.
sense to you?
No.
Then we get her bank statements in Staten Island, and it says she bought wood at Home Depot. My grandmother doesn't even have a house.
Yeah, so how's she buying wood?
So her brother is basically now using her account as well. So I just feel like maybe all of that would not have happened, and she would have been properly taken care of if I would have tried. At least tried. She did it for me and
If you was
for
paying
my siblings.
more attention.
Like
But
I should at least try.
I mean, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see what you're dealing with, but I think um, some of that you shouldn't hold against yourself.
I
Cause
know. It's
there's
done.
some things we can't control. We can't really get mad at the things that we can't control, but we gotta try to do what we can do with the things that we can control. And yeah, I can
Well,
see how.
I control things a lot better when my grandmother was around.
Yeah,
And now I just feel out of control. Like
you just feel lost
everything
without her.
is yes,
Yeah.
everything is just different, and it was just easier to do it with her around.
So, um, how long have you been using? I just want to ask.
Well, my
I don't
grand
know if you're still using, but how long have you been using? If you're still using.
My
What would?
grandmother died October 2019, and that's when I started using.
Mm-hmm.
So about 6 years. And
Wow.
I've also been homeless about the same time too.
You've been homeless
You
on a.
basically can say I had a mini nervous breakdown when my grandmother died. I even gave up my apartment. And that's the worst thing I could have ever decided to do. Another story.
Yeah, and is it any? That was another question. Is there anything that you regret doing
Giving up my
that
apartment.
you wish that you could change?
Giving up my apartment and just not trying to be there to, take care of my grandmother like she took care of me.
Mm, that that's real. That's real. That's real. That's real. Um, and you said now
It
that.
also hurts that I didn't really have a real conversation with her before she died. Check this out. Her sister was in the hospital there. Also,
Mm-hmm.
when we came, they brought her back to the nursing home. And every time we tried to talk to her, she kept pressing, what is it? The what is it, methadone?
Like the emergency button or something?
The medicine, the drip, what do you call that shit?
Oh, okay, 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 okay. The IV?
Morphine.
The IV?
Morphine.
Yeah, like the
They
IV.
kept pressing the morphine button, but her
Yeah, yeah,
sister,
yeah.
she was like out of it. She just kept saying like Nana, and I'm looking at her like I don't know Spanish.
Oh, wow.
So we really didn't get to talk to her. And then the next day she died.
Wow. Wow. That is harsh to hear. My condolences to you and for your losses. I mean, I me myself personally, I'm dealing with losses. I lost and I don't usually talk about this on my show, but I lost my grandmother, and then I lost my best friend. He just died. Uh, had a heart attack. He had a heart attack. If I'm correct, had a heart attack in his sleep, and
Sorry
that's
to hear that.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, But I mean, these things, um, they do happen, and
Never know either. Well, tomorrow's never promised to no one.
so are you homeless now as we
Yes.
speak? So are you seeking any type of housing or anything like that?
Well, I was told about Canberra, 120 Stuyvesant. I went there 2 years ago and I filled out some papers. And just recent, I was told that that's a place you can go to and you don't need to be in a shelter to get a voucher. So I
Yeah.
remembered that I was there 2 years ago filling out a form. So what I was going to do is, go back down there and see if I could get any information or reapply if I have to.
To get any information on it. That's cool. Another question I want to ask you was, um, and I don't want to like like I told you earlier, I don't want to. I want to do the interview right, but I don't want to disrespect you. I get into your business too much. Uh, are you currently using?
Yes.
Do you want help?
I'll be honest with you. There's days I do, and there's days I
And
don't.
hey, listen, ah,
Bruh.
you ain't, hey, listen, and I respect that. I appreciate your honesty.
It's really hard when you have no one.
It's really hard. Okay, I want to, if I can, I want to try to offer you some help. When we get off the show, I want to, if I can, I want to try to offer you some help. If you're willing to accept it, you don't have to accept it. If you're willing to accept it, I want to try to plug you into a couple of places um, that I know on Staten Island, Project Hospitality. There's a couple of different organizations, and there's also the Coalition of the Homeless. If you're willing to do it, that's on you.
I was also told about 20 Beaver Street in
Yes.
Manhattan.
Yes.
So I was gonna take a chance on a trip down
Yeah,
there.
we ain't gonna talk about all that on air, all right? We gonna discuss that off air.
Bruh.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But if you willing to accept it, I do want to help. Or if I can try to help you
Yes, thank you.
to sober
Definitely
up.
talk.
You're a good person, and I know you're a good person, and I've seen it. And I just want to say, I wanted to ask this. This is a personal question, and whew, that messed up right quick. But I just wanted to ask, would you some of the struggles that you have been through, because you say you've been homeless for a while, okay? So my question is this: if you're homeless, right? Are you receiving some type of income or something to support your habit? Or what? And then that's what I'm saying. I want to get to, but what are you doing to support your habit? Because
I have my little hustles, I help clean house, or I help someone go grocery
you
shopping.
gotta hold the mic up, please. I'm sorry.
I have my little hustles, where I'll help someone help clean their house and stuff, and they go food shopping. I'll help them with the cart, with the groceries home, put it away. Real miscellaneous things.
Hmm.
But as far as for my income, I try not to touch that for my habit because it's for my for my living costs.
And I asked this question because this. Okay, my listeners, y'all can't see what I'm saying. I asked this question because you are an attractive woman, and I don't want to put it out there that you're selling your poom poom, but I'm pretty sure that people have offered. I'm pretty sure people have offered, and that's what I'm trying to say. You say you hustle, you cleaning up, you do this, da 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 da. So are you like you have training in these things though, right?
Also, I have a certificate in medical billing.
Oh, all right, all right.
And I was
That's what I'm saying.
almost done with criminal justice with Penn Foster, but I couldn't afford to pay them anymore.
All right, that's cool. I didn't know you criminal justice and stuff like that. That's cool. So you're using what you learn to hustle your way. And yeah, let's give her a round of applause for that one. Give her a round of applause for that. Cause I can't do no maid work. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm gonna tell you why I can't do it. Because I don't like the smell of my own dirty sneakers. So I'll be damned if I clean somebody else's sneakers. But more power to you. And that's the way to do it because a lot of traditionally a lot of people will go through different avenues to get what they do and to get what they get. But there's uh, very few that do it in a respectful manner. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? But
Bruh.
my listeners, y'all know what I'm saying. But I think I'm gonna just say I give you the respect for the manner that you're doing it in because a lot of women sell themselves short, and you're not going down that aisle.
Bruh.
In the past, went to the blue, but I really try not to go that route.
And that's what I said because you're an attractive woman. That's what I know somebody probably tried, at least tried, but the fact that you can resist that and um, do it your way through the house cleaning and the other certifications that you have. I mean, like I said, give her one more round of applause. I give respect to that because a lot of women they just go, "Oh, I got a poom poom, I can sell it, I can get this, da 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 da," and you're not doing it in that form or that fashion. and I do respect that. So I give that a lot of respect. I also wanted to ask you this, okay? Because um, regardless of all that stuff, do you see yourself at some point? Because I don't want to ask your age. Do you see yourself at some point stopping? Because you do. I mean, I don't know. You look like you're in your mid 30s. You're probably in your 40s. I don't know, but do you see yourself living this lifestyle at like 60 years old? Do you really see yourself doing this?
I'm hoping not. But yeah, you're right. I am in my late 30s, almost 40s. I will be 39 on the 22nd.
So you don't see yourself doing this.
It's not something I want to see myself doing, but I can't predict the future.
And also, another question, um, because um, like you doing the work, has
It's
this?
been heavy on the brain, though. I would just say that to you real quick.
But has that ever affected your work? Like, do you go to work? Like, if cause like, I can see you um doing the maid work, and not for nothing, there was a uniform. I
Can
believe
I
that
just
was
say
the
one
maid.
thing to that question before you keep going? No one should really get high on the job, though, right?
No, and that was my question. Do you get high on the
No,
job or
no,
before you
no, no. It doesn't.
go
That
to?
makes no sense. And plus, you don't get paid till after you do the job. So,
Exactly. Oh, that's good. So you got a real good. I mean, that. Let's give her a round. I'm gonna give you an applause for that again. Cause this is. It's like you have a basic thing around it, but I think it's just a lot of trauma
yeah,
that's going on. I mean,
yeah,
you
it's just a
still
lot of
functioning,
emotional things.
you still working, and it's just some emotional trauma going on there.
Yeah, hopefully, well, I'm working on it. I've been thinking about, well, not thinking about because I want to go back to college, and I'm trying to get myself situated where I could possibly, you know, work full time, you know,
And I'm
legitimately.
and this is one of my final questions. Because I see I mean, we've spoken before, and we spoke earlier in the conversation we had earlier. It was a little deeper than the one that we have now, but I really see that you you are trying. You're trying to do what you gotta do. I mean, you ain't high now. So I mean, you came straight for the interview, and then I've been trying to get you here, and you came straight for that, and that I give you that credit because that it just shows, you'll be. So I give you
Initiative,
that one. So
effort.
so so if anything I say, if it holds any type of weight, you got that part with me.
Thank
All
you.
right, I'm gonna give you a round of applause. You got that part with me. You're doing what you gotta do. Um I
And
do want to
as
think.
far as my kids, you know, it's rough not having them with me, but I sent them away for a reason. See, I had a plan.
Hold the mic up, sir.
I sent them away for a reason. It's all part of a plan. I ain't want them out here possibly slinging drugs and not finishing school. So yeah, and I didn't want them to drag. I didn't want to drag them through any emotional states that I be going through or any of the problems that I'm going through right now. They're good. They're good, and that's my main concern.
Hey, you see them, right? Am I correct?
I video chat with them. They're in Florida.
But you see them.
Yeah.
All right, so then that's all that's good. It don't matter how you see them, as
Yep.
long as you see them.
They're doing good, you know. They're both 16 now, and one's about to start driving, and he said he's about to start working, and you know, they're doing good. Exactly what I wanted. Even though they were doing good with me too.
And that's good.
I just hit a bumpy road
But
and didn't take them down with me.
but I can see you trying to, you're trying to come over that bump.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time, but at least you putting in the work to climb over it. We all fall into certain things.
No one's perfect, right?
Not in any sense.
Only God. Only God.
Bruh.
Not in any sense. Nisha, I want to thank you for coming and doing this interview. I've been trying to get you for so many months. I really, really want to thank you for coming to do this interview. All right.
Well, I really want to thank you for having me.
Oh, yo, anytime. If you want to, hey, listen, you want to come back? You want to do another interview?
Sure, why not?
If it take me 3 more months to find you, you know what I'm saying? I'll find you. Okay? I will find you. Take me
I'll
three.
leave some breadcrumbs and trails so you can find me.
Hey, leave the breadcrumbs, and I will follow them, and I'll
Some
find you.
candy.
I will follow you. Nisha, I really want to thank you for being on my platform. I really, really do appreciate you for being here. To all my listeners, if you have anybody or know anybody who are suffering or dealing with drug abuse and you want to help them in any shape, form, or fashion, call your local 311. They will, I'm pretty sure they will hook you up with any local network there that will help you to help them. Again, I want to thank uh, my guest for being on. Uh, give her a round of applause for being here. All right. As always, y'all know how we do. I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with me, and I so appreciate that. You could check out this story with other ones on my platforms. Check us out on all our social media platforms. You can check us out on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and Instagram. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Also, stay blessed and not stressed. Until next episode, ladies and gentlemen, I will see y'all later. Peace out.